Hi there, welcome to my Craftascope Back to Basics show. This is a new show which has come about really from after my natter with Nick the other night. There was a comment on there about masking, and someone said they found it quite difficult or out of their league. And since then I've had a couple of messages from people saying the same thing, people that have watched and find it quite difficult. So I think a lot of times we forget about the new crafters. We go on with sort of more advanced cards and what have you, so I thought maybe a good time for me to try a Back to Basics series. I think it'd be a great idea. So if any of you have anything that you'd like me to go over, please feel free to leave a comment underneath the video, or send me a message on Facebook, or there's a chat facility on the Craftascope Etsy site. I'll go through them and I'll try and put a show together. I just thought it was going to be quite a good idea, so I'm going to do a couple of cards, do a very quick one first. Now I'm going to be working sideways, so you'll have to forgive me if I make a few mistakes, but that's the only way I can work the camera to work above me. So right, so here with my first card I've got a Clarity, it's a 4x4, 5x5 inch card. Clarity, I love them because they take the ink perfectly, amazing quality. They are a little bit more expensive, but as I always say, you do get what you pay for. You can buy cheap, but you're not always going to be happy with the results. So I've got my Clarity card here, card blank, and then what I've done is I've cut a smaller square which is going to fit in onto my card. Now this is a mask. I know it sounds really silly, but for people that don't know, this is a simple form of masking. So what I'm going to do is centre that onto my card. As I say, as I'm working sideways, it's going to be a little bit more tricky for me, but I want you to see what I'm doing. So as you can see, I've left a little border around the edge of the card and in the centre also. So my first thing that I want to do is I want to stamp a leaf into the centre of this. So I'm going to use my stamping platform. There we are, so I've centred that, and I'm going to choose a leaf here with some words on. These are from my Floral Companion range, and I want it about there in the centre of the inner square. So let's take that away. Here I'm using the Versaclear black. I will go over something else a little bit later, but you need very little pressure. The stamps are really good quality. You can see that was no pressure at all. Perfect stamp. You can read create, harmony, hope, cherish, beauty. I thought that was a lovely leaf there filled with the words. So I'll remove this. Now what we want to do is we want to create a mask for the leaf that we'll be using. So if we take a piece of copier paper, I'll just use one mask for this, one magnet or two. So there'll probably be enough ink on here just to get the leaf outline, because that's all we need for our mask. And we can put that all out the way. Take the leaf off. So here we've got our mask. And what we need to do is we need to cut this out. Now I'm not going to cut it out now, you can see what I've done. I don't think you want me to be cutting out here. So here we've got a mask. All I've done, again, printed that onto copier paper, cut it out, sprayed the back of the mask with some temporary adhesive. So we'll get our card back now. And we want to put this in place onto our stamped image. Now a trick with when you're cutting these out is cut inside the black line where you can if you've got a fine line, because what you don't want to do is find that you get a halo effect around your stamp. Unfortunately I've picked one there that I haven't got much of this sticky on that edge. I need to change that to another one. So we put that in place. I might have a little bit of a halo. If I have, I can show you what I mean and really show you how important it is to get that. There we are. Sorry about my pokey tool, I've had this for years and years and years. When I got my puppy a few years ago, she decided that she wanted to play with it. Right, so that's our mask in place. The next thing I'm going to do is use the clarity brushes. They're fantastic brushes, and I'm going to go in with some Wild Honey Distress ink. So we want to load up the brush, take off the excess. My hands are inky already, I can't believe it. And then we just want to lightly come across our card. Let's get a little bit of ink. Sorry if I get in the way, this is really quite tricky working sideways. Right, yeah, so we want to get the ink on the edge that we've left. And we also want to put our ink colour inside the square. We'll just turn that round as well. Sorry. So I hope you're all okay in the UK. I hope the weather's improving for you. It's when I got back here I realised just how hot it was going to be. It's incredibly hot. I've got the air conditioning on at the moment. I've only got it in one room, but you know, it's a safe haven and it's the craft room. There we are. And then we just want to work back into them because we get a nice edge around our card. If you can see just around here, we're getting a really nice deeper edge, and we want to match that on these sides also. This is a great way of building up colour on your card. They're fantastic. If you've ever had trouble with blending, get yourself some of these brushes. I know they're on offer on the Hochanda site. I love my smoothies also. You know, people that watch me will know that I use the smoothies an awful lot. That's great for building up like a higher concentration of ink on the card. So I think that's enough. I might just go in just around the edges. If you grasp the brush like that and splay the edges, if you go just in to the corners, and I've overdone it there a bit, but never mind. We can just blend it through. There we are. So that's the first part of our card done. So what I want to do now is remove our masks. So if you use your pokey tool just to raise that up, and then you peel that off. Now I can show you here, let me hold it up a bit. I can show you here how I've got a halo effect just there, and that's where I haven't placed the mask in correctly. And just here. But you know, on something as small as this, people aren't going to notice. So you know, on a larger project, obviously it would mean a bit more of a difference. And then we're going to remove this mask. There we are. So you can see that's given us a really nice, it's a faux matte and layer really on your card there. You can see how easy that was. It's a little bit deeper here, the ink going to a little bit lighter towards the top. Right, so now what I want is the inner square which I cut out, and that's going to protect our work here. I'm just going to turn it around to position this so that I get it right. Oops. So that's that. And now I'm going to be in a little bit of a mess because I've lost my little square that I just had. And I can't see where I put it. Did I just throw it away, I bet, didn't I? Right, so we can get away with that. So what I'll do now is get some more copier paper and just tear that. So I want four of these. Now what you would do ideally is keep your outer, but I don't know where on earth I put it. I only just had it when I peeled it off, obviously. Right, so I'm just going to put a quick bit of spray adhesive onto these 4 pieces of scrap paper that I've got. Whatever you usually use is fine. And what I want to do here is create, well, you see what I'm doing, so I'll just bounce that piece off. That piece off. So they're completely masked off. Now when you get to this side, you want to leave about just under half a centimetre edge there, and then the same at the bottom, about half a centimetre. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our clarity brush again, and this time we're going to go in with the hickory smoke. So I'm just going to load up the brush with the hickory smoke, just take a little bit of the excess off. Just make sure I load it up properly. There we are. And then we're going to come in. It's very hard to work sideways. You should try it. Just load it up a bit more. I think my ink pad's dry. This one's drying out now. Before I came over to Chanda to do my one-day special, I noticed that lots of my inks had all of a sudden decided to pack up and run out. They'd gone on and on and on and on and on, and then they all seemed to run out at the same time. So that's just getting some of that ink into that gap. When I peel it off, you'll see the effect that you get. You see, when you do it with your actual your outer square, when you move it along, you actually get a nicer angle on these pieces. So you're just going to peel off the masking. Put that down there, and then get the pokey tool, and then remove that. And then you can see that gives you it pushes the image off the page there, which I think is really nice. Very, 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 very simple card there. Just some really simple masking. I'm going to take the Floral Harmony set now, and just to choose a word. So I think here we'll have, what should we have, peace? Or let's go for graceful, that's nice. Or harmony. Harmony, we'll go for harmony. Can't decide. So I'm going to use my stamping platform again on this one. Make sure they're all clean. I've got a dreadful habit of getting ink on my magnets and transferring it to the card. There we are, and then let's just position the harmony. Should we have it sort of, let's have it there, I think. And we go back in with the same Versaclear ink, just lightly ink up the stamp. And remember what I always say, very light pressure. And that's given us a perfect imprint on there as well. I love the font on there, it's a little bit old typewritery. So that's that bit done. And what I'd do then is, just to finish off, is just go around the, let's do that now. I'd just go around my main square with the, oh dear, my hands are really shaky today, I'm sorry. Very shaky. But we can use that to the advantage, just go with a slightly squiggly line instead of a straight line. You don't need to always have straight lines. Sorry, I'm going to turn this round for now. There we are. So that's a really, really simple form of masking. You could actually go round the other edge if you like. Shall I just do that as well? You know, it's amazing to be able to make a little notelet card with just, what have we used? 2 inks, 3 inks with the black, a little bit of scrap card, sorry, some scrap copy paper, and that's it. You know, and that's a really nice, quick and fast card, just using a little bit of simple masking. You could easily do a lovely little box of these, do a box of what, 6 or 8, some notelets, send them to a friend. You know, I think it's nice to get real mail now. We always have emails, and you know, they are, you know, although it's nice to hear from people, it's nice to actually get a real thing brought. So I hope that's all right to show you. I'm sorry about that, because the camera's all a funny angle, I'm not sure. But I hope you'll agree that's a really nice card. It really pops just putting that very small amount of the hickory smoke there. So that's the first card I'm going to do. Now, before I start the next card, I just wanted to show you about the using too much pressure on your stamp. So I'll get another piece of copy paper here. And I'm going to use my stamping block for this. So I'll use an oak leaf from my from the Floral Companions. And first, I'll just get the hair off because there's a hair on there. Right. So just ink that up. Now, these are really good quality stamps. So you only need a little bit of pressure. So literally put that down on your page and a light press, and that gives you, oh look, the hair's there. That gives you a perfect impression. You know, lovely. Now I'm going to overstamp it to show you the difference. So ink it up exactly the same ink, place that on the paper, and then press. And you can see what I mean about splaying. It's not quite so important on a leaf, but when you come to other more detailed designs, it is important, you know, especially with the words. If you have the leaf with the words, or, you know, it doesn't, you know, any of your other stamps, you hardly need any pressure. And I think this is why I've had so many comments about people that had gone off stamping and they have used my products and they have found it easy to do. You know, you don't want to have to keep putting pressure on it. It gives you stress in your hands. So you just want to be able to just pick it up, lightly tap the stamp, and then, as I say, just go in and a light press, and then I can't see that hair on the stamp, but it's coming out. I'll do it once more. Just do it just here. And a very light pressure. Hopefully you can see that I'm not using any pressure whatsoever on that stamp. And if I hold that up, you can see that's a perfect stamp with no hair. That's the one that there's a hair on the stamp. And this is the one where I've used too much pressure, so the lines have really splayed out, so you're not getting a really lovely crisp line. Especially important when you come to do, maybe if you've got the ATC Antics collection, you know, with the faces, you know, that can really make a difference. Such fine pressure you need. So that was just something I wanted to show you while we were here. Right, so now I'm going to move on to another masking technique, a little bit more, I wouldn't say advanced, because once you've used masking, you will find that it's very straightforward. The hardest part is cutting out the things that you want to use as masks. what I would suggest, if you're using a lot of masking eventually, get yourself some of the Clarity do a brilliant blank mask where you can stamp onto that and make your own masks, and then you can reuse them. I tend to have so many that I usually use copier paper, because I find that, you know, it's a one quick use and then I can just cut some more later. I don't mind cutting out in the evening. So for my next card, I've got an 8x8 Clarity card blank. Again, this is what I tend to use an awful lot. You know, especially if I'm wanting a card that's more into the stamping rather than the matting, layering and additions. Excuse me. Right, so what I've done here is I've just drawn myself a couple of lines, and this is where I want to do my simple mask. So I've got some scrap copier paper, and I'm going to line that up. I'm going to have to turn it around again, I'm afraid, sorry. I'm going to line that up with my line, and I'm going to do the same on the other side of the card. I hope that's right, can't really see. Right, so that is, for you, that is the right way. What I'm going to do down here is just give this card a really nice decorative edge. So I've cut a lot of masks here. They've all got the spray adhesive on the back. So I'm going to start away with some of the stamping. So I'm going to use Phil's round stamping block because I really like that. I'm going to take my first stamp, which is the horse chestnut. Lightly ink that up and position it onto my card. Just coming off again, not very much pressure at all. Perfect impression. Now, rather than keep loading and unloading your stamp, what I suggest is that you go in and you add all of the same leaves that you're going to use. So we put one there, just a little miss that one. That's another thing to be careful of when you've got your line of copier paper. Make sure you do put the pressure on the outside, otherwise you get a line there. So let's add another one here. It's worth, because we're doing back to basics, I'd rather do the errors here and be able to show you, because this is how you learn. This is how you see your mistakes. We all make mistakes, even now. You know, I make lots and lots and lots of mistakes. I'm sure a lot of other advanced crafters make huge mistakes, because I know I do. Right, so I think that's enough of the horse chestnut. I'm just going to see if I'm brave enough to go over on that leaf. Just use my head for a minute. A little bit off because I'm rushing, but you get the idea. So then what we're going to do is get our masks. Hope I've done enough of these. And then put them in place onto our paper. So I think I'm going to find it difficult today because my hands are so shaky. Sorry. I did a video of this last night, but I really wasn't happy with it at all. It was I was getting flustered and the mosquitoes were out in force. So I wouldn't put that on. I might put it on one day and show you how dreadful it was. Just to show you that we all go wrong. Put that one in place as well. There we are. And I haven't got enough. I haven't done enough of those. So what we'll do, we'll work from the top. So I'll choose my next leaf. And this is gorgeous. I love this one. It's such a lovely leaf. The writing in it is so crisp, and I just really, really like this one. Sorry about all the clanking. Now remember, we haven't masked these two, so we don't want to go down as far as that. I'm just going to add another one. Just about here, I think, just coming right off the page. And then we'll go put some of these masks on now as well. So use your pokey tool just to position the centre leaf, and then you can add your others, and then just let that fall down. Get another one. Use your pokey tool to position the centre again. In there, and then there. And now you can see what I mean. When you cut out, if you cut out on the inner, you can see that the black line is actually outside the mask. And that's what you want, so you don't get a different, so you don't get a gap in your stamping. Put the last one in here. Whoops. Missed that bit a little bit. So now we'll come in with an oak leaf. I've done exactly the same as what I just told you, and I've overstamped that again. But as I say, it's best to show you. It's best to show you, isn't it? You know, the mistakes that we all make. Now you can see that it's really starting to look untidy and messy now. So we're just going to put some more masks on in place. This one there, and we need another one there. Right, there we are. So if we look again, we're masked completely from there up, so we can fill in all these gaps. So I'm going to take the horse chestnut now with the script to add this into. Now this is a much smaller stamp, but you'll see how clear, crisp clear that writing is. Look, inspire, beauty, cherish, harmony, love. You know, I mean, that's that's how well my producer makes my stamps. I mean, I think they're absolutely fantastic quality. I hate bigging up my own products, but I am so proud and so pleased with how they've turned out. You know, if you have got them at home, which an awful lot of you have, you'll know yourself how crisp and clear the lettering is. So just working along. I know it's a bit repetitive, but for the people out there that this is for, it is a new thing for you, so I do want you to be able to see exactly how to do it. You know, that's the whole idea of me doing this video, is so that you can get the techniques there. So we're going to just come in here. There's not much more stamping up this end, so I'm just going to pop a couple of these masks on, so we have that one there. This one here we need, because we've got a gap there. Now, Leonie says it, I say it, quite a few other people say about the white space. Now, in something like this, the white space is really quite important as well, because it gives you even more depth. I'm just going to, actually I'm not going to place that on there, because I think we'll move on to a beech leaf. Yeah, beech leaf now. And And this is, the font in this is even smaller. I'm just going to make sure I get it right way up so that we can see. So I'm going to put one there. And I've put it upside down, but even there you've got harmony, hope, grace, beauty, harmony, hope, create. You know, I love them. They really are lovely. So let's get this one up the right way, shall we? Let's pop that there. There we are again. I'll hold it up later and you can see how nice they are. Right, so now we've stamped right the way down to here, so we can get rid of all these masks now at the top because it's starting to look messy. So this is where it's always exciting when you start to get the reveal and see how clear everything is. So let's get that one up. This one up. Get rid of this one and the oak leaf. And you can see now that's really nice. It gives you the depth now because you've got leaves in front of other leaves, you've got leaves behind, you've got the white space here. You know, so you're really getting a lovely build up of a pattern there. Let's get this one here. Now we're going to leave that one in place because I'm going to need that further down here. So I think that's all the masks off. Yeah, that's all the masks off. So now we can mask off the last few bits and finish off the piece. So again, using your poker tool, middle, edge, and then just press it down. And then we want the 2 horse chestnut leaves. Whoops, daisy. So we've got the horse chestnut here, middle, edge, edge. And then we want one last horse chestnut leaf for there. Just middle, edge, and edge. This one's a little bit trickier. Let's get that there. There we are. I'm just going to remove that because I haven't got that in place properly. There we are. It's worth taking the time just to make sure you have got them in place properly, otherwise, you know, you put all this work in and that's it. Right, so all this area's masked now, we've done all that top part, so we can just go straight in and I'll stick with the beech leaf for a while first. Let's pop that there. I'll put it upside down again, but it doesn't matter. Put it the right way up this side for you. And let's have another one over there. There we are. So now we want to pop the masks in place here. That's that one. Get this next one in. And one more there. There we are. Right, so they're all in place. So now we've just got this last little bit, so we'll take a new stamp and go for the oak leaf again, because we haven't got any of those there. So just put one there. On there, on there. Just quickly pop these last ones on. So you've got one just there, one just there, and then we've got the last one there. So we've literally now just got that little area there to go, so we'll pick up the horse chestnut with the writing on. Just do that the last one. Whoops a daisy, so let's just pop that in place, give it a press, and I think that's enough now, perfect. Right, so now we can get all these masks off, out the way. See what we've got. It's always nice when you get all these off because it looks really messy where you've over stamped it all and then you get the reveal. I think that's all of them. Yeah, so that's all of our leaves done. So just move these out the way. And then we can take off our next piece. So we'll just peel those away. Peel that away. There we are, so that's given us a really nice decorative border there. Now, I'm just going to give that a blast with the heat gun just to make sure it's dry, because I want to show you something that I think is quite important. At home I wouldn't use a heat gun, I'd really wait for this to dry first. When you use masking, any masking, you know, masking tape, drawing gum, the spray adhesive, it does leave a light residue on your card. So you really need to get that off before you start colouring, because otherwise you're not going to be happy with your colouring. I'm going to hold this right up and see if I can show you some pieces. Right, so you've got like residue here, can you see? Little areas. Now when you come to colour that or ink it or whatever you want to do, you're going to find that they're either going to look spotty or horrible. So just don't, you know, it's worth spending the time. I just want another bit of paper just to not get ink on it. So just take a piece of old rag and just give it a good old polish. There we are. So that's given us a polish. Again, my old trick, always do it when I've done something like this. Nice little line up the side. It just gives you a really nice border. It looks more like a matten layer. It just finishes it off the side. And the same on the other side. And you're just using that pencil line just as a rough guide. There we are. I've already got a bit of dirt again. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how I do cards sometimes without. You can usually get a rubber and just rub those little bits off. Now the next thing I want to show you to do this card is the stamping and the dies. So what I've done, as I said, the floral companion dies come with the floral companion stamps, so you can use them. Now I personally find, I mean, I've shown you how I'm incredibly shaky today. There's no way I'm going to be able to stamp that freehand. So a top tip: cut your leaf out first. Spray the back of it with some spray adhesive, which I'll just do now. A piece of copier paper, which I can use the one that we've used before. Position that onto your copier paper so that you know that it's not going to go anywhere. And I will have to do this way because otherwise I'm not going to see. So I'm going to just position the stamp onto my piece of paper. Oh, please don't let me shake. I've chosen the wrong one here, I think. I've chosen the wrong die for it, can you believe it? What a nuisance. There's two leaves in here that are really, really similar. And this die I've used is actually for the one with the veins rather than the one with the writing. I'm going to have to stick with it, I'm afraid. Right, so get our ink. This one's covered in hair. Hair and fluff. Right. Light inking up on there. Yeah, and it's not ideal, but that's great if you want the white edge. So that's how I'd stamp the stamps. I'm going to have to go through maybe on another one, on another edition, and show you how well they stamp out. Maybe when I'm not quite so shaky. Let's just get that out of the way. Bring our card back. Now, as I say, last night I did one of these talks with you for this particular Back to Basics.